big trade still being finalized. Phoenix Suns get Bradley Beal from Washington. Chris Paul and Landry Shamet go to the Wizards.
Whoa.
Yeah. What exactly happened? Feels like Washington said, all right, got a guy making a lot of money, and he's a good player, not a great player, and we need to get out from underneath this contract, and there's no trade clause, and we'll send him to Phoenix. And Phoenix basically said, all right, we'll give you these guys. Sure, we'll take that. I don't think Chris Paul is going to end up in Washington. Probably a third team will be involved in this. Landry Shamet is a decent player, but you didn't get DeAndre Ayton. Maybe you didn't want DeAndre Ayton. I don't know who won this trade because I think Washington did what they wanted to do, what they needed to do, I should say. And they're not relevant. Nobody cares about them. You got a couple of players that you at least know, but they're not threatening. And Bradley Beal at age 30, all right, you send him on his way to Phoenix. Phoenix now has, 3 guys who do the same thing? 4 guys who do the same thing? Are you gonna win the West by outscoring people? First of all, I got to have everybody available. Bradley Beal, last couple of years, hasn't been healthy. You got the Kevin Durant factor, trying to make sure that he's healthy there. Devin Booker missed time. If you're going to have everybody healthy, all right, let's see if you can outscore the Denver Nuggets. I got the odds, DraftKings odds, right now, updated NBA title odds for next year. It's the Nuggets, followed by the Celtics, then it's the Phoenix Suns, Bucks, and then after that it's a big dip to the Lakers, Sixers, Warriors, and the Miami Heat. Now, maybe the Miami Heat go after Dame Lillard. I think that might be after the draft. Let's see what Portland does. Let's see what New Orleans does with Zion Williamson. Could you move Zion? Could you move him to Carolina? Could you get the second pick? Is that a good thing for Zion to be back in Carolina? I think there's a few things, they're still left to be settled there, but Bradley Beal going to Phoenix, I think Miami was a possibility. I think there were 4 teams that there was maybe a possibility there, but for the Phoenix Suns, you're all in. You were all in when you traded for Kevin Durant, and maybe you can trade DeAndre Ayton. Maybe you can get some depth there because that's what they lacked. You got to have some, people coming off the bench. Denver won the title because they had the 2 best players on the floor, but they also had depth. You had guys who contributed, and that's the big difference there. Phoenix didn't have that, and they're not going to have that unless they're able to get a couple of role players for DeAndre Ayton. But he's damaged goods, it feels like. I don't know Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded coach. Meanwhile, he's got all these scorers there. I don't know what they're going to average this year. I don't know if you start to get, what about my touches? Is everybody going to be in the 24, 23, 22-point range there? Is somebody going to be the alpha dog there? Is Devin Booker going to get his points? Chris Paul, could he end up? I go back to what Rex Chapman had to say. And he said he thought that Chris Paul would re-sign with Phoenix and maybe for a smaller salary there. I don't know if he's going to end up with the Clippers or the Lakers, or maybe he's back in Phoenix. I don't know, because Washington may just release him. But I would hold on to him, see if there's any trade value whatsoever for him. But it feels like these teams, there's 2 ways to approach this. We're all in, we're going to win, or we're going to do what Oklahoma City did. And that's basically, let's just pick up as many draft picks as possible. Well, Phoenix didn't have a first-round pick. They got Bradley Beal, didn't have to give up a first-round pick because they'd already given up their first-round picks for Kevin Durant. But as far as a winner today, I guess I would say the Suns, because they got somebody that we know, and he is a proven scorer. But I'm trying to think. Give me the greatest Bradley Beal moment that comes to mind. This is a guy who averaged over 30 twice in his career. I'll wait. Give me the, oh, my God, Bradley Beal. Yes, Marv.
He had a really good mid-range against the Hawks.
Oh, he did?
December once.
Okay. All right. Once. All right. Yes, Paulie.
Was Washington becoming too relevant? They wanted to get rid of some players. They were like witness protection. They wanted nobody to watch them.
Yeah.
That's a weird franchise.
Yeah, I just think that now it's a full rebuild here. And that's what I wonder what Portland is doing. You're going to keep Dame. Can you get a player who's going to help him now? Because you're going to be drafting an 18 or 19-year-old player. And while Scoot Henderson has, a lot of publicity surrounding him, Brandon Miller at Alabama, but they're young. Dame is 33. He might be 34 this summer. And while he's exciting, it feels like, if you're Dame Lillard, can you wait 2 more years? Yes, Marv.
I feel like Washington is the place where you get threatened to go to. Like, keep acting up. You want to go to Washington? You want to be a Wizard? Act up.
Keep acting up.
Like a child.
Hey,
Like a parent.
if you don't start playing defense, you're going to go to Washington. No, not Washington.
Now you go to your room and think about what you do.
Okay.
You want to be like Kyle? Talk about Kyle Kuzma. You want to be like Kyle?
You can stay in Los Angeles. It's okay. I'm sorry.
You love me like
You don't have to go to Washington.
Dang.
I was just mad. I was
Yeah.
venting.
He's like turned into a meme now.
Kyle Kuzma?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where Porzingis is? No. He's in Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want that?
See, when he didn't play nice with Luka, they traded him. They traded him. Yes, Paulie.
Do you think the Phoenix Suns owner is in? I guess he's making interesting moves. He's adding to their franchise. I bet the local fans love the news. Remember we were out there when Durant got picked up, everyone went crazy. Yeah. Bradley Beal, they're like, oh, another score. It's like the new owner is getting a bunch of fresh new toys. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if this is one of those where they need a few enforcers as well.
I just need depth. It feels like that you can have 2 really good players, 2 guys who are making $50 million, and then I got to surround you. I think the 3-headed monster doesn't work. For a variety of reasons. The cost that, you're going to incur, the salary cap, can you get good players to surround them? Everybody wants to be a star. They don't want to be role players. Bruce Brown with Denver wants to be a star. He doesn't want to be a guy who comes off the bench or, hey, I got my, 17 minutes here. And trying to get those players who understand. I mean, Cameron Payne wants to be a star. He's the backup point guard. Is your starting point guard? Do they have a point guard? Is Devin Booker? Well, you got Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. You don't have a point guard. You got 2 guards who are doing the same thing, basically. And then you got KD. Yes, Marv.
No, you have 3 guards. Kevin, they're all shooting guards.
I know.
Kevin Durant, they're just all different heights. They all do the same thing. Great mid-range shooters. They all do the same thing.
Well, Devin Booker can shoot the 3. I don't know Bradley Beal's numbers from 3-point range, but he's a great scorer. But I go back to Florida, and I'm thinking, Fritzy just sent me, Bradley Beal posterizes the Hawks' John Collins.
Fourth quarter, like October 29, 2021. I had to do a search on Bradley Beal highlights, and that came up. A big dunk on John Collins.
Do you know how many people watched a Wizards-Hawks game on a random night?
Even guys on the Wizards and Hawks bench probably weren't watching. They're like, can we get the NBA pass? Watch some other games here while we're sitting there watching this. And it's nothing against Bradley Beal. He's never been. It's been a long time since he's been on a big stage because he's played in like 40 playoff games, but that's a long time ago. But he's a 23, 24 point scorer. Okay. Washington, they traded Rui Hachimura last year. No. That's a total rebuild there. How would you feel if you're Porzingis? Hey, I got my own team here. and Porzingis had some pretty good numbers. It's just, you don't want to be irrelevant. And that's what Washington is. That would be where you're doing SportsCenter. And we would see the games that we would have on the rundown, and we would be doing the highlights, and then it'd be like, oh, God, I got Washington. There'd be certain teams where you'd go, oh, gosh, how do I dress this up? Yes, Paul.
I have a Chris Paul question because he's kind of in limbo right now. I saw on Good Morning America pushing a book, and he doesn't know if he's going to be a Wizard, he's going to be a Clipper. Is he in danger of being the greatest NBA player without a title, the way this is going?
Karl Malone, I think, would be held in higher regard.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley is more well known.
Ewing.
Yeah.
He's entering the conversation, though, because what does he have, like 10 All-Star appearances, 12 All-Star appearances?
Yeah.
He's a pretty well-known guy, and I think he went to one finals a couple years ago.
Yeah. I would think Karl Malone, because he's the second all-time leading scorer, went to 2 finals. Barkley is famous. Karl Malone, as Marvin has pointed out, 2 MVPs. Wait, Karl has 2?
Yeah, I think 97 and 99. Pie to the face. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I got 2 MVPs for Karl, 14-time All-NBA.
Okay.
Wow, 14-time.
All right.
2-time All-Star MVP.
Yeah.
75th anniversary. He's got it all.
Yeah. I'd say that he's probably the most decorated player who never won. Maybe. Who's the most overpaid to not win a ring?
He's definitely in that conversation.
That would be Chris Paul, I
Those
think.
Oh,
last few years, he's just
He's made
raking
a
in the
healthy
dough.
living.
Yeah. Well, the salaries, because of that, he's, you're making 30 and that's chump change. So he's probably $400 million for Chris Paul.
As of right now, or what he's due? Oh, gosh. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he'll be at 3 unless some type of contract buyout happens. He's owed another $60 million easy, and he's at 331. Oh, check that. He's at 360.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Maybe he ends up back in Los Angeles.
I have him by the end of 2025.
Yeah.
He'll be sitting on about 420.
Okay. All right.
That's hot.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I wonder if Porzingis looks at the Knicks as like the one that got away. Where you like sort of that ex that you like, hey, I know this is out of the blue, but it's just thinking about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's
It's okay if you don't write back. I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you guys. And I don't know. We had something.
Yeah.
We had something.
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the person you're DMing has moved on from you.
They're well moved on.
Yeah, Marv.
Yeah, Porzingis definitely DM'd them. Hey, stranger.
Hi.
Hey.
Guess who?
I was just thinking about. We had that couple of years that were really fun, and then you know what? It's my fault. I'm the one that messed it up. I thought I was bigger than who I was.
I'm the jerk. I'm the jerk.
I just want you to know that it's my fault.
Kristaps Porzingis, 2000. His third year in the league, 2017-18. He was 22 years old. He's averaging 23 a game for the Knicks. Then he banged up his knee, and they traded him to Dallas.
Yeah. And then didn't get along with Luka.
Act up. See what happens.
Yeah.
Now you're in Washington.
Yeah.
You want to be like Kristaps and Kyle?
Dang.
Keep acting up.